Well, Indian summer in this part of the country lasts for a month or two, and it is just spectacular. We call it the leaf peeping season. And this seems like a spectacular year. And to share it with our GS will be a lot of fun today. You can watch this in 4K. Just adjust your device. Now, I can't believe how nice the weather has been. The whole summer has been great. So far, the whole fall, we have just amazing how much riding I've got in. I'm really happy about it. I'm not complaining. And it looks like, as a free bonus, we're going to have an Indian summer. It's supposed to be really nice for the whole next week. So we want to get as much riding, wear these tires out, wear the chains out, and when the real cold weather gets here, we can be drinking coffee. Now, I made a big mistake yesterday. I rode behind a cement mixer for a few minutes. I had no way to get around him. And I noticed when I got home, the bike had little dots of like powdery, cementy kind of looking stuff. I assume that's what it's from. I had it on my face shield. I had it on the aluminum parts. It really got me annoyed. But I want to clean it up. I want to head out into our Indian summer day here with a clean bike, of course. That's always one of the things I enjoy. Not everybody does. Another thing I enjoy, not everybody does, is feeding these birds in the morning. They don't seem to appreciate how much love and care I put into it. Anyway, look at the scenery. We are going to have a great day. Karen has already checked the weather. It's going to go up into the 60s today. High 50s, low 60s. This time of year, perfectly blue sky. Zero chance of rain. Oh, I'm ready. I'm so ready to get that bike out, especially if it's nice and clean. Check it out for anything that tire pressure and whatever. I always pre-flight the bike. And as I'm getting ready to have my final cup of coffee, look at the sky. It just couldn't be any nicer. Early in the morning like this when it's cool, oh, the open road is calling. Hard to believe, and this is summer 42, Indian summer 42 in fact. I remember one year, this time of year, with the leaves were just like this and it snowed. So I'm real appreciative of the fact that we have had wonderful weather for this whole fall, in fact, whole fall. Trouble with being out on this bike at this time of year is you never want the ride to end. You have like 200 miles of mileage with that tank once it's full. And other than the fact I have to get back to the farm, I would have stayed out all day today. This was a heavenly day in every way. It wasn't even wind blowing. Sometimes it's just the wind makes it annoying. And the leaves are everywhere. The scenery is just gorgeous. It's only a matter of time for any bike where you start to get tired or the seat gets uncomfortable or whatever. Not with this bike. This bike is an all-day motorcycle. It's really good. A thing that you wouldn't think would happen with the GS after 42 years, you'd think the suspension would be worn out and saggy and baggy, and I can't tell you, the shocks and the forks are totally just like the day they were new. It adds to the joy of the ride, that's for sure. Now, other people I've known with GSs have told me the same thing. Their air forks hold air for years at a time. You never even have to worry about it. And those shocks, I'm not sure what why they have stood the test of time as well as they have. I've never even been tempted to buy a set of aftermarket shocks. In fact, I don't know anybody who even has a set on their bike. Now, it's always nice when you get a new bike, you look, everything's nice and clean and shiny and nice and tight and everything. But then I think, how many of these bikes 42 years later are going to have that nice tight feel, that nice engine feels smooth, the engine doesn't get all loose and vibration, all the little things that get annoying, that it isn't a new bike anymore. This bike is great. And I've always liked that 86 exhaust system that I got from the late Frank Straub. Thank you, Frank. That has just the right amount of rumble that you don't get in trouble when you get into these populated areas where I have to ride. And the Michelin Commanders seem like they're wearing better than any tire I've had on the bike. And of course the handling is just really nice. So this happens on a regular basis, and I've gotten to be very, very aware of when these people and postal men, garbage trucks, they just seem to take up a whole lane. And if there's a car coming the other way or something that can ruin your whole day, and I don't know, they don't seem to really care about blocking up a lane. This one's not too bad, but I've had some that really, where there's a car coming the other way. Oh. And on a day like today, it's hard to imagine a month and a half, 2 months from now, it's going to be brutally cold, and they'll be the worst thing of all is when they start salting the roads. Then it's really buyer beware. Now, in our exact part of the country, the summers, there's about a month and a half that it's really brutally hot, and the same thing in the winter. There's maybe 2 months where it can really get cold. But the rest of the time, everything in between, oh my God, it's a day like today makes you glad you live in this part of the country. Now, I pretty much spent the better part of a winter, and it's all videoed out on our channel. You can look up custom wheels, painting wheels, to do these wheels, and I think they really look good on the bike. I always feel sorry for people that fall into the trap of they have a bike like this, and I get a lot of emails about it, that they sold a bike and they wish they didn't sell it. And I've done the same thing with my cars, some of the cars, the airplane I own, the Air Coupe, and it's just sad when you think about, you can't get it back now. Now you can afford to get it back, but you can't get it back. And I'm so glad, I am very fortunate and blessed to have this bike, the RD, all of the older bikes in my collection, because I'm just so glad that some of them I had the foresight not to sell them. And when Indian summer comes to your part of the country and the leaves are falling, assuming you have that in your area of the country or part of the world. And hey, by the way, speaking of that, I'm just so happy to have so many people from overseas watching the videos now and corresponding with me and hearing about the stories that other people have to endure overseas. Wow. But anyway, we do have an Indian summer to die for here, and I hope really that you're out riding, you're out having a great time too, because what's going to happen to me real soon, it's going to be time to get back to the farm. See what Karen's doing this time of year. She's always baking and cooking and doing something interesting. And when I get home, even if it's perfect weather like this, I love to head right for the coffee maker and pour me up a nice big cup of coffee. Now, after 42 Indian summers with this bike, I just can't imagine When I bought the bike, I had no idea what was ahead of me, and I don't know what's ahead of me still, but I know this has been one great Indian summer. And I have been blessed to have 42, that's 42 Indian summers on this bike. I'm not sure when that's going to end. This bike looks like it's going to, for sure, it's going to go on for a while, and for sure, it's going to outlive me. So thanks, one and all, for watching.